The next two scenes were filmed at Neot Kadumim, which was a nature resort where I learned about plants and trees in Bible times, and coming down the Mount of Olives from the direction of Bethpage, where Jesus got on the donkey to ride to Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. In one of Dr. Fleming's printed lectures I purchased from the Biblical Resources Center, I learned that even though for most of his ministry Jesus was publicly evasive as to whether he was the long-awaited Messiah, that all changed on Palm Sunday. By riding the donkey into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday as he did, he was by his actions declaring publicly he was the Messiah. This is because in Zechariah 9:9 it says, "Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, daughter of Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and having salvation, gentle and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." The crowds all knew this passage and were looking forward with keen anticipation to welcoming their Messiah in such a fashion as they did. By waving their palm branches and throwing their cloaks on the road for the donkey to walk over, they were communicating by peaceful demonstration that they were accepting Jesus as their Messiah. And the Romans were all too aware of the significance of this event. Jesus was being closely watched, and this act was sealing his fate. The third way I'd like to cover how Jesus flew into the face of hypocrisy and power was the fact that he picked the most volatile time of year to ride the donkey triumphantly into Jerusalem, the Passover.
Passover is the most likely feast for a riot. It's the feast you remember we used to be slaves and now thank God we're free. And you don't feel free at Passover because the Roman garrison has a tower taller than the temple. Do you see the front left tower is taller than the temple? Historical sources tell us like a big fist sticking up in town. Remember who your boss is.
When Herod the Great first came into power, he had to kill about 100,000 Jews to squash all the rebellion against his rule. So part of the reason for peace during Herod's reign was because he killed off all the people that were able to fight against him. This is Masada. It's one of several fortresses Herod had built with the Jews' taxes so he'd have a place to escape to if his life became endangered. And when Herod died, his son Archelaus had to kill 3,000 men in one day to suppress their instantaneous riot even before he became king. Then while Archelaus went to Rome to secure his standing as king in his father's stead, the riots got so bad that Varus, the same Roman governor of Syria that sold the inhabitants of Sepphoris into slavery, commanded that no less than 2,000 Jews be crucified. This was shortly after Mary, Joseph, and Jesus would have fled to Egypt. And again in 6 AD, when Jesus would have likely been around 11 or 12 years old, there was another census which meant that taxes were going up yet again. So the sons of Judas the Galilean led another revolt which caused another 2,000 men to be crucified in one day around Jerusalem. And the known time of year for almost every revolt is during Passover. Now, during the next segment, we'll learn about the Romans' crucifixions as well.